Oh, Jesus, sometimes. Ah. Ow. I added new things to my studio. I'm sure you've seen examples of liminality on the internet. You know, it's only one of the most talked about topics in recent years. Searching up liminal space on YouTube gets you hundreds of thousands of results, all explaining this phenomenon. It's a space that looks familiar, perhaps an empty schoolyard, and gives you an uneasy yet nostalgic feeling. There aren't many feelings like the one you get when you see a liminal space. It's a very standout one because, at its very nature, it's taking an already complex feeling like nostalgia and adding even more layers onto it. It's a strange feeling, especially when you come across it in video games.
One of the more obvious picks is a game that, unintentionally or not, has a wide variety of examples. Minecraft, at its core, is mostly a single-player game. Sure, you can have multiplayer, but I'd argue that the best way to experience Minecraft is alone. And for the sake of this video, and for the sake of being less cluttered, we are assuming that you are. You spawn in the world, and nothing is amiss. You build a nice house, and all is good. Mayhaps you do a little mining, a little cooking, craft some armor, maybe even visit a village. But there's always something off. You are alone. Not exactly alone. You have villages and cows and other things to keep you company, but they're not you. They're not the same as you. There isn't really another Steve. It's barren. And this becomes more apparent when you're out in the world and find one of the many abandoned structures in the game. Desert pyramids, jungle temples, remnants of an era where people did used to roam here. Where they were, at one point, here. You can find their buried treasure with riches and powerful items. Places of worship. Places with communities that had a thriving civilization. But it's all gone. Now all that's left is an eerie stillness. It's uncomfortable, desolate even, maybe even uncanny with context, because you know something happened, but you don't know what. Minecraft itself could be considered a horror game at times, but that's probably going to end up being a topic for another video. For now though, Minecraft is 100% an example of uncanniness and perhaps even slight liminality in a game, even if it is most likely unintended. I find this feeling a lot more common in older versions, especially the Xbox 360, because that's just what I grew up on. The old textures work wonders to give the game that feel of liminality, since, literally speaking, it is a lot of people grew up on Minecraft, so by definition, it could be considered liminal. I decided to cheat a little. I'm including a horror game. I can understand that argument that this is just completely cheating, but it's my channel, and I want to talk about my 2020 to 2021 hyperfixation. So, go away. For those of you who lived under a rock during the COVID pandemic, there was a tiny, small indie game that came out. It was fairly niche, and I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's only got a lot of players, only Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and literally everyone else played it. It's just called Phasmophobia. It kind of gripped the internet by storm for a solid year, and people still make content and live off the game today. And I think that's for a good reason. The game is addicting. What can I say that hasn't already been said? Well, that's a good question. I looked and looked and looked. And by that I mean I searched one time, and there was not a video that I could find talking about liminality in the game. So that's what I'm gonna do. Perhaps it's a low-hanging fruit. The game is meant to be scary, creepy. You're literally being chased by a demon on crack that wants to kill you while they laugh in your ear. It's great, it's great, it's great. But one thing that always adds to the factor of its creepiness is its locations. All of them, including the new lighthouse that I forget the name of and refuse to learn it because it's near impossible to play solo. There seems to be two versions of why the place was abandoned. Either some tragedy happened here, such as in Sunny Meadows, the asylum of the game, or the current tenants were scared off. I particularly want to focus on the ones where the tenants or the living people here were scared off. In my opinion, the game is much more unsettling and a more clean house. Why did that take so... what? Why was that so hard to say? In my opinion, it's much more creepy for in my opinion, the game is much more unsettling in a more clean setting like Tanglewood than it is in something like Brownstone High School. It's the fact that you know that something is amiss. Even if it doesn't outwardly appear as such, it seems normal. And in your mind, you know that's not true. You know, you're being chased by a ghost. You know that it's there. But at least for me, I found myself lowering my guard a lot more than I did in something like Sunny Meadows. The game does a great job of presenting a less threatening atmosphere that seems almost safe. Looking at the inside of Tanglewood, you would never guess that there's a ghost about to rip your face off for breathing wrong in its ghost room. Which I think the liminality of this game is most pronounced in these types of maps. The game feels empty. Wrong, but not really in a not really in a way that you can place. The sound design is immaculate. Even when you turn on the power to the map, you still get a sense of unease, but you don't know why. Surely it's because you know the ghost is coming right behind you, about to reenact the Lion King and throw you down the stairs.
Long live the king.
But seriously, looking at a large portion of this game, it gives something you would see right out of the back rooms. They appear ambiguous in a way. Like you've seen something similar to this, but you can't quite place what or where or even how. It's uncanny in how it appears and what it symbolizes. You're here, tackling things beyond your comprehension to survive and get paid, which, now that I think about it, is actually a very reoccurring theme in indie horror games. Like, you got things like, the back rooms. You've got things like, oh, what's that one? Lethal Company. And then that one where you're under the water is just Lethal Company but underwater. Wow. It's almost like that's the formula that works. Anyway, Phasmophobia is scary in multiple different aspects, and I believe that if the locations weren't so generic and liminally-y, the game wouldn't be near as effective. That's actually why I don't like ghost hunting with Conrad Stevenson or even Obsidio. They just simply don't get the same feeling of liminality. The things are more detailed, and I don't like detail. I like my locations boring. The final game I want to talk about really isn't just a game. It's more of an idea. In the absence, it's the absence of players in a dead multiplayer game. Think something like Call of Duty World at War, or the first Counter-Strike, or really any game from your childhood that used to get massive amounts of players but is no longer does. These games had, at one point, huge fan bases, but they don't anymore. There is nothing but silence now. You spawn in on an empty server and, then what? Nothing. Sure, you can explore the map, but that's all you really can do. There isn't much else without another player. There's simply nothing here. And that's what's so eerie about it, because at one point, there were people here. These games are so lively. They were, at one point. But now it's just barren. It's a wasteland. You're alone. Quite like a house that's long been abandoned but still looks new. You can play the objective, or capture the flag, but what's the point? There's no challenge, no fun anymore. And just nostalgia. Maybe it's just me, or your mind making connections, putting things that aren't quite connected together so that it can make sense and give you some semblance of normalcy. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. That's probably it. You know, I'm not a psychologist. I'm a YouTuber, but like not even like a good YouTuber. I'm a bad YouTuber. So don't take me personal psychological advice. Personal what the hell, bro? Anyway, these maps, once playgrounds of fun, are now there for someone only with rose-tinted glasses to look back and remember the good times.
Going up, I ain't got no sky limit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I put the new forges on.